Hey YouTubers, welcome back to the breakdown, the Evil Bad Book Club. We're going over chapter 16 of the Turner Diaries. In this chapter, Earl Turner is he's up to his ears and no good. He's involved with money. Oh crap! He's counterfeiting money. So he and his unit are counterfeiting millions of dollars to try to affect the economy of the nation, so that the economy crashes and people get pissed off at the system and maybe help the organization. So he's got that going on, and then he's also got this plan he's trying to devise to take out a nuclear electrical facility in the Great Lakes outside of Chicago. So, it goes into, basically they're trying to fund their organization through counterfeit money. So they're printing money, and then they're trying to launder it and replace it with the real stuff. I don't know why they'd bother if it was a good enough counterfeit, but I guess whatever. So, so they're working on that. Keep in mind, when the book was written, digital money wasn't that big of a deal. Credit cards were around, but they weren't that prevalent. You still you had a machine that would swipe over your card, and you had all that going back then when the book was written. And in the 80s and 90s, that's when they started getting more digital. And so if you've not been around since then, that's why things were a little lower tech back then. So that's probably why they were focusing on counterfeiting cash. So they're counterfeiting millions of dollars of cash, working on billions. They're trying to get up to like $10 billion of counterfeit a year to tank the economy and make things really bad. So it goes over the ins and outs of that, and they're basically taking turns flying to different major cities and dropping off all their counterfeit money to their different cells that they have in these cities. So it goes over the ins and outs of that, and it's kind of entertaining, because in the 70s and even in the 90s when the story takes place, you could, airport security wasn't like it is now. But in the book, because of, the organization being such a terrorist organization, it's kind of amped up. So now they've got, metal detectors and stuff like that, but the security at the airports are mainly looking for bombs and guns. So slipping money past them isn't that hard. So they're spreading money all over the place. And then, Turner goes to Chicago, and he's checking out that nuclear facility and trying to figure out a way to bring it down. So it makes you think about the whole idea of financing an organization like that. I think nowadays you would have to figure out some way to do it digitally. So you'd have to figure out a way to maybe, I don't know, steal money digitally somehow, or using one of the bitcoins or something like that. So it's pretty interesting how they plan on attacking the economy to get the regular population to get more pissed off at the system, so that maybe they'll join the organization's fight. And then, when they figure out a plan to attack the nuclear facility, Turner figures that he can't get anything in there major to actually like blow something up because security's too tight. So he devises a different plan of action on a way to get them to shut the facility down based on, a dispersion of radioactive material. Pretty ingenious, really. If you think about it, you can't blow up the place, but if you spread nuclear uh, radiation all throughout it, then really makes the place hard to use. And so they would have to focus on decontaminating it, and they've been working on this place for, the book says like 10 years, which makes sense, because one of the nuclear reactors and all that stuff, it would take quite a while to get one of those facilities up and running. And that's kind of interesting too, with all the electrical things going on. Now you've got a push towards clean energy, and you've got, things going on in our world, our current situation, where we're trying to figure out clean energy. They're trying to do wind turbines and stuff like that, whereas nuclear is definitely a cleaner energy until you have to dispose of the byproducts. So it makes you wonder why they haven't done that. Of course, I think they have with cold fusion figured out something, but of course everyone's so fearful of I just knocked something over. Everybody's so fearful of radiation and something like Chernobyl happening here, or 3 Mile Island, that they're scared of nuclear, which I get it, but it's definitely more efficient than batteries. It's definitely more efficient than the wind and stuff like that. So hopefully things will work out like that for us, and we'll figure out something. But in the book, it just gives them another plan of attack. If they can take out that nuclear facility, it's really going to mess up the grid, because they're having trouble keeping the cities in the Great Lakes area powered. Like, the factories are only able to run for a couple days a week. So the system has a huge amount of money and time and energy into this nuclear facility, and are hoping that it's going to be running things in the country much better. So it just gives you different ideas, how this guerrilla force, kind of figures out a workaround. It's kind of interesting how Pierce, the author, uses workarounds where a smaller guerrilla type force could actually do something, and that's probably what got this book on the list of books that you shouldn't have or read, because it really helps people to think in that kind of way. But anyway, so that's chapter 16. Come back tomorrow for chapter 17, and I'll check you YouTubers out later.